Hi guys. So today I'm a bit under the weather, but I decided, you know what, I need to talk about this album. Because this is an album that I've listened to non-stop since its release, which could be 20 to 30 times now. I've lost count at this point. And this album for me, I consider to be the heaviest album of the year. Regardless of every other album I've listened to this year, so far this has been the heaviest. So this video is pretty much going to be my thoughts and opinion about this particular album. Wait to find out which one it is. So if you haven't guessed by now, the band is Humanity's Last Breath, HLB for short, and the album is Abyssal. And my god, this is just heavy. It's just beyond heavy. It's just heavy all around. And I'm not even surprised because this band comes from the origins of Thal, which was pretty much invented by the band Viljarta, which, funny enough, half the band of Humanity's Last Breath is from Viljarta. Them being Buster and Kale. And this was produced by Buster as well, and mixing and mastering also. And it's just him doing what he does best. He's creating these humongous sounding guitars, amazing riffs, just heaviness. Even though the guitar is in drop E, which is the drop tuning you'd usually have in an 8-string guitar, it sounds even heavier somehow, but that's just the way he does it. He's a surgeon in that sense when it comes to his music. And in this album, it's pretty much it. They've taken a lot of black metal elements this time and combine it with their deathcore and their sort of signature sound, bit of hardcore influence as well, and pretty much created something that is just evil, just pure, honest evil. It's terrifying, it's scary. The first time I listened to Abyssal Mouth, I was high and I got terrified, but it's so beautiful in that way as well, to create something so pure and evil, but so great at the same time. So one of the songs I'd like to talk about is the song Frodga, which is Swedish for froth. It's a very interesting track. It was the second single they put out for the album, and initially I didn't really like it. I didn't really think much of it. And then over time, after multiple listens, and in my case up to the 30th or 40th listen, this has become one of my favorite tracks on the album because it is so different. It still retains the old school HLB vibe while adding a lot more elements like the blackened side of it, because they have a lot more blackened elements with the blast beats as well as the chord progressions that are very dissonant, and a lot of the vocal styles, which throughout the album they've have a lot of layering with their vocals, and added to that a lot of effects that enhance the experience of this very, very demonic album. Another track I'd like to talk about is, in a way, must be the title track, Abyssal Mouth, which originally came out as a single a couple of years ago, along with the music video, which was so heavy, and also a very terrifying music video, especially if you're baked. And this new version somehow got even heavier than the original. You can really hear it when they do the initial chugs, because there's no other way to put it, the initial chugs, I don't really call it an intro, where you can hear the rattling of the bass strings hitting off the fretboard on the instruments. I believe this added a really nice touch to it by emphasizing just the heaviness and downtuned feel and slowness of the song. And then followed by that, you have the breakneck speeds of the blast beats, and then other sections where it's the chugs, whether it be the breakdowns or the black metal section. It all really fits together really nicely, and the somewhat catchy, as catchy as it'll get for this kind of music, chorus that sort of melded it all together. Great song. It was a great song when I first heard it, and even now it's still a highlight of the album, even though it has to deal with everything else on the album, which in a way they're all kind of highlights. Moving on, I'd like to talk about the 2 instrumental tracks on the album. Now, when I say instrumental, I'm not referring to, the version of the album that is just instrumentals, because that is available when you downloaded the album from Bandcamp. No, I'm talking about the 2 songs. I think the first one's called Forsung, and then the other one's called Being. And pretty much the first one, it is pure just black metal. Which is strange, but at the same time it's suiting. Initially I didn't get this sort of transition piece in the album, but again, listening to it more and more, it was actually kind of nice, because HLB is so used to very kind of polyrhythmic, very choppy sort of guitar playing, while this song is very much just straightforward black metal. You know what you're getting. In a way, it's a bit comforting to have some steadiness, some stability in that sense. With the rest of the album, so I wouldn't say unstable, but it's very, disjointed, and that's not a bad thing. That's just the way I feel they perform, and I love it that way. The second instrumental one is called Being. Now, this was kind of the first music we heard for this new album. A while back, before the album came out, it made a video that had no title, and I think it was just, there's nothing even on the screen. It was just this song being played, which, if I'm correct in saying, it has the sample of Jordan B. Peterson in the background talking that's been modulated, pitched down, and whatever.
We're limited creatures, and life is very hard. Everyone dies. Everyone you love is going to die. Most of the things you do, all of the things you do will eventually fail. Suffering is a certainty, and it's very easy for...
That's all the other vocal effects that go with it. And then when you think it's just sort of a talking piece at the end, it just comes out of nowhere with the heaviest thing you've heard in your life. Where what I thought, it felt like sort of like an overture of the album, and in saying that, I kind of wished more that it was the first track off the album, because I think it would have really set the tone for the album, because it was so heavy and it used a lot of elements in that song that pretty much represented the entire album as a whole. That was just my take on that song, saying that it was very heavy, it was very scary. It reminded me for some reason of H.P. Lovecraft and that whole Cthulhian vibe, very sort of out there and spacey, but super terrifying and deep. Oh yeah, just before I forgot, the third instrumental track, which is Dudgud, which roughly is Death God. Pretty much like the closing song. It's the closing track of the album, and it's kind of similar to Being in that sense, the song Being, because it's sort of a build-up, and instead of like a sample of someone talking, it's a choir, a very ominous choir singing with a lot of reverb in a church that slowly sort of like sets the tone, and then out of nowhere, boom. more heaviness, more fast-paced stuff, sort of as though like you're worn out, and they look at you, you're dying, and then they go like, no, we're not finished with you yet. And they pretty much make sure that they give you everything on those last few seconds. So that's just a quick sort of thing about the last track, Dud Good. So lastly, I want to talk about the last two full-length tracks on the album called Vonda and Rampant, which in my opinion are the heaviest tracks off the album. And from what I can tell, they decided that at the start of the album they're going to be a lot more methodical, a lot more black metal atmospheric elements going into their work. And now by the end of it, they just sort of decided, screw it, we're just going to be heavy through and through. Breakdowns for days. Chugging. Low-tuned Thalsh stuff. So beautiful to listen to, at least for me, but I'm weird in my music taste. And it's just non-stop. One of the breakdowns in Rampant, it just gets so sludgy and slow that it kind of just weirdly enough reminded me of Shrek, which is a very weird comparison, but I was thinking like, you know, sludge, swamp, Shrek. So then I decided like this is a very Shreky riff or a Shreky breakdown. Yeah, it's weird, but that's how I thought it through. I really like that track, okay. So, to wrap things up, is this the heaviest album of the year? Who knows? Year is not over yet, and what is it? The new Infant Annihilator came out, and I've listened to it twice now full way through, and that's pretty heavy. But could it beat HLB? Who knows? Maybe I'll do like a compilation at the end of the year or something, but for the moment, I'd still put my money on HLB for this one as the heaviest album of the year. And just before I go, I'd like to give you two band suggestions. The first being this band called Duka, which is a French prog band that are for anybody who likes Meshuggah, as well as that sort of like gent sort of style of like Kadinja and Dali Thundering concept. Yeah, so if you're into that stuff, definitely go check those guys out. And the second band I'd like to talk about is a band called Cryptodira, which is a band from New York that really combine that sort of mathcore elements such as like Dillinger Escape Plan and Converge with a very soothing sort of like slowed down indie vibe as well, but they do it in such a way that sort of plays well one off each other. So also go check them out. I saw them live recently and they're really cool guys, really great music and great to hang out with, so check those two out. And if you want to check out any of the music that was discussed in this video, the links will be in the description as well as all my social medias, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching.